Francis Hall is the home of the Department of Construction Science. We, for a long time, thought about, dreamed about, hoped for, wished for having our own headquarters, our own home base. And what should happen? But the provost notified Professor Horlin, the department head at the time, and said, Francis Hall, right smack dab in the center of campus, one of the oldest buildings on campus, is coming vacant. And I, the provost, will entertain proposals from folks who think they might be able to beneficially use the building. Then she said the key words, I'd like for all of you who have an interest to prepare your case, quote unquote, and present to me. Now, Professor Horlin is a fine leader and has been an executive, but he's also an attorney. So when she said build your case, he was ready. The provost made a short list. It was us and this other department. She said, all right, it's between you folks. So what I want you to do is build your case again and be ready to do a stand-up presentation for me and do questions and answers. That was right in Professor Horlin's domain, of course. And at the end of that session, the provost said the building is awarded to the Department of Construction Science. That's the good news. The bad news is it needs to be completely renovated and you'll have to raise the funds.
And one of the goals of our Industry Advisory Council when they first started officially in 1998 was to have a space for the department. Without the support of the industry, this would have never happened. It was critical. In our proposal to the university, we proposed that we would be able to raise about 50% of the funds necessary to renovate Francis Hall, which the cost of renovation was roughly $10 million. And we needed the support of our industry, and they more than delivered what we needed. And it was a great partnership between us and them for a lot of reasons. One, financially, obviously, we needed them. But it was also a partnership in the aspect of we used them to come up with ideas for the renovation itself.
We met the funding milestones, an architect was retained, and I would tell you we were blessed to have an absolutely wonderful architectural team. They understood us, they understood our needs, they understood what we're about, and they understood Francis Hall and its value to the university and its historical significance, and they put all of that together in absolutely fine fashion.
One of the things we wanted to try to do as part of this project was take a building, Francis Hall's 100 years old, I think, this year, actually. And we wanted to demonstrate to the university how you could take a 100-year-old building and renovate it and preserve its history and yet make it functional. And I think we were able to do that.
And we were very fortunate that the building, even though it was built a long time ago, and you can see honeycomb everywhere, it passed all the structural testing that was required to take care of the load. Now, George did get the project, George Ponticus, based on best value, and the man really came to bat for us because there were quite a few issues and he just made it happen. He treated us very, very well on the project.
During the building process and moving over here, we grew our student body from 600 students to a little over 1,100 students. And that helped the industry dramatically because we had a situation where our students were getting 4, 5, 6 offers each, and the industry just couldn't hire enough students. So this has helped the industry in return by being able to deliver roughly twice as many graduates a year now than we did prior to Francis Hall.
This particular former student said to Professor Horlin, I'm about to donate a significant sum of money, but what I want to do is endow a Professor Bob Segner auditorium. The room that we call the crown jewel of the building, the central room in the building, the largest room in the building. He said, I want to make a state-of-the-art teaching facility, and I want it dedicated in the name of Professor Bob Segner. That's very humbling to me, honestly, and I consider it one of the greatest honors I've ever received. It's near and dear to my heart.
Every day I come to work, I'm incredibly grateful and appreciative for the hard work that Joe Horlin, my predecessor, did to make our program not only the biggest in the country, but really give it the best possible home so that we can make sure we give the highest possible quality education to the highest quantity of students. And so we get to be in one of these original Texas A&M facilities, but we've upgraded it and modernized it and made it a living learning laboratory where we show people how the elevator system works, how the infrastructure and the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing works. So Francis Hall is completely and singularly unique.
It's open as in, I've always felt like I could go and talk to professors and just the relationships that you have with professors and students. But then also, if you walk around Francis Hall, you'll notice that the ceilings aren't finished off. Everything's really open, so it's more of like a learning tool too, which helped me going through my MEP classes and other classes. You really get to see the stuff that you're learning be brought to light in Francis Hall.
I'd say my favorite thing about Francis Hall is the opportunity to collaborate with other students in such a close environment. There are all kinds of rooms with big monitors where groups can come in and work on projects together. It also creates an environment for students in various different classes, different age levels. It gives a good opportunity to network and to talk to one another, get advice from people who are in classes that I may be taking in the future. And it also gives me an opportunity to share my insights with others in classes that I've already taken.
The most prominent feature of this building is obviously the Francis First Floor Auditorium, a Segner Auditorium, and that has a real sentimental value to me because I took Segner in one of his last semesters teaching here, and it's really an honor for that to be named after him and the centerpiece of this entire building. And I can tell when they were building that, that was their idea, and the windows and the open feel to it. In such a small building, it really makes it feel very open. So I think that's pretty unique.
It has the ambience of construction. It has the feel of construction. It reinforces the mission and the vision and the objectives of the department. The students feel very comfortable in all of the spaces, and I think that the ambience, the halls and spaces that are for the students to study, and yet the interaction of the faculty and the students creates an ambience for the mission and the vision of the department.
Our accreditation team was comprised of some of the longest running programs in the rest of the country. And when they described Francis Hall, they said it was the envy of any other program in the country. I don't know what other program has a facility that has an auditorium dedicated to one of its professors who taught here for 46 years and who was the epitome of spirit at A&M, which is that of a Yell leader. So we have the most enthusiasm of any construction program, and while we don't have the biggest facility of any construction program, and I know this to be true, Francis Hall is the best construction facility of any construction program in the country.